White Rockin' Entertainment, podcast number 970. Thank you, B. You just sat on my chips. Does basketball season come to an ignominious end this week, or can they stretch things out a little bit longer? We'll talk about it tonight and a whole lot more. The AU Wishbone is next. Theme music. For those on YouTube, you actually get our cool theme music on the audio podcast on like Podbean and Spotify, but not on here yet. I'm working on it. In fact, I could probably make an intro video thing that would like include the audio. So I guess I need to do that. Okay. Well, anyway, from the 70-degree, maybe 80 today, Southern Illinois, and probably nice Eastern Virginia.
We're definitely spring in Eastern Virginia, Van.
Yeah. How are you tonight?
I'm well, Van. How are you?
Pretty good. I thought, wow, it's nice outside. So I got my iPad to do a little writing, and I walked out on the front porch, and the wind here in the prairie states was blowing so hard. I was there about 30 seconds and said, I'll just enjoy the sunshine from inside the living room. I turned around. It's like living in this part of the country, Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, this whole area. It's like it can be 80 degrees and sunny, but you still got that, and Dorothy and the cow goes by. So if you got to really love wind to really appreciate this area, and I don't. So it's nice when it's like 100 degrees, but not when it's, upper 70s. So anyway, that's been
like an unwanted neighbor that comes over and visits.
From the Weather Channel, Reynolds Wolf.
Thunder snow.
That's right. We need Reynolds to come on and do a segment for us like this. But in any case, so we are going to talk a little bit tonight about the way the basketball season has gone and turned out, and preview their upcoming game with Mississippi State, it was a really weird game a couple of weeks ago. They allowed a guy to go off like Michael Jordan on them, and they still almost came back and won. It was on the road, wasn't it? I believe it was in Starkville.
Yes.
And they still they hung in there. So I feel like they have a shot to win in the first round. They have no shot to win in the second round, but that would be great if they could. But we'll see. So the first thing we have to do, of course, and I'm being remiss, it's the Auburn Fun Meter. It's how much fun Boris is having being an Auburn fan right now. So first we'll ask John. John, how much fun are you having being an Auburn fan on a scale 0 to 10 right now? We're going to do a lot of 0 to 10s tonight, by the way.
1.5.
I don't think I'm that low. I mean, there's nothing going on right now that's unexpected, really.
No, but I did not have fun Saturday night with that. So
yeah, I have to admit, it's been a long time since I didn't pay much attention to an Auburn basketball game. But our trivia team was busy winning. I had very little to do with it, honestly, though. The question asked, and so I just wasn't that focused on the basketball game. It went about like I expected, and it ended about like I expected, and I just thought, well, I know everything I need to know at this point. So you can fill me in on a couple of details, like did they play any defense at all? Or apparently they didn't.
Yeah,
they did.
Not really.
No. I didn't think so. It didn't seem like it. It looked like Alabama was on their way to 100.
When we get to that place, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Some parts of the defense were surprisingly good.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to hear. So, all right. You have flagged us for another real talk. So what's your thought? What's your thought there?
Well, I mean, this is where we did this during football season multiple times over the years. where we have some very direct, honest conversation about how we feel about how things are going. And we did it last week. We got some good feedback on that. I think people like that. And we need to do it again because here we are. Like the basketball season could be over on Wednesday. Could be finito for us.
Exactly. Well, I added a couple of questions, a couple of points, and then on a scale of 1 to 10 questions that I'd like to get into in a minute. But after that, I'm going to go ahead and say this up front. Then let me just go ahead and say this up front. I noticed on Twitter the last few days that there are Auburn people who absolutely despise Stephen Pearl. I mean, I think he could have gotten us to the Sweet 16 this year, won the SEC tournament, and they would still hate him. And they use the way he got the job as a sort of metaphorical club to beat him, right? I mean, I have said all along, as good as our program has been the last 10 years, and you have an assistant coach on that bench that has been an integral part of how good that basketball team has been the last 10 years, when your coach retires, I think you hire him. I think that I have two blazing hot takes. One is that being Bruce Pearl's son in some ways is the worst thing Stephen has going for him. Because if his name was Joe Smith and we hired this, very prominent, successful assistant coach to take over for our retiring coach, and his name was Joe Smith, I don't think anybody would be that upset. That's my one blazing hot take. The fact that he's Bruce's son and then it went down the way it did, I think is being used to hit him over the head. My other blazing hot take is everybody is like Bruce was doing his son a big favor by leaving this team when he did. And I'm like, if Bruce had really wanted to set Stephen up, he could have left last year and handed a Final Four team to Stephen. We'd have learned a lot about Stephen then with that roster, right?
Yep.
Or he could have waited till this season, the end of this season, to retire. And at least that way we would have some knowledge of how good this team would have been with Bruce coaching it. There would have been a benchmark. Yes. But by leaving when he did, he hands him a clean slate with nepotism charges over his head and no knowledge of what to expect from this team. He kind of got the worst end of every deal.
Agree 100%. And I want to go back to something else. Like the people that have a hard time with the way Bruce did it and whether I think people have said this and I believe it. I think regardless of what time of year Bruce Pearl retired, Stephen Pearl would be the head coach.
Yes.
There wouldn't have been a nationwide search if he retired in March. It would have been Stephen Pearl. And I'm going to go back to something you and I talked about over the last 2 or 3 years. We are the people that talked about Bruce Pearl lifetime contract and build the statue and those kind of words about Bruce Pearl. And with everything Bruce Pearl has done for the program, if he wants to have some say in who the next coach is, fine. I have no problem with that at all. He earned that because he built it up from nothing to something, like something good. And he has the ability to say stuff now about the future of the basketball program. I have no issue with it. So the idea that like Bruce doesn't get a say and we should have done some national coach and we'd have national search, we'd have hired who like this goes back to your point. We'd have been lucky to get a Stephen Pearl.
Yes.
And I think all the people who complain about this are a little bit deluded. I also think people can't separate people that I hear this from, like they can't separate watching the game, the players from the coaches. Okay. When the team is wildly inconsistent, but shows it can do certain things, I don't blame the coaches. The coaches don't wake up out of bed and go, well, today we're not calling the defense like we did a couple of weeks ago. So like they're professionals and they're going to come about it the same way. Everybody else is like 18 to 21-year-olds. And they're getting paid now, but I think this team of individual players wildly oscillated between how they played week to week and within games. And I think that is not on Stephen Pearl. And I think we'll see that a year from now. That's my opinion.
I agree. So two things. One, people act like Stephen was at home playing with Tinker Toys and Bruce said, let my son be the coach for a while. And he's like, I don't know what I'm doing, Daddy, but I'll give it a shot. He's been the top assistant on this 2 times Final Four staff for 10 years. He could have left 2 or 3 years ago.
Yes.
And gotten like a UT Chattanooga type job.
That's right.
And to some degree, maybe he should have and then come back. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe
he certainly, if he had done that and taken that team to the tournament, these other fans would have no complaints now.
That's
but the
right.
reality is because he didn't do that, we don't know.
Let me pause and say, yes, that is fair. And I will certainly go along with that.
And if he had left and gone to coach UT Chattanooga, maybe Auburn basketball would have been less successful.
Yes. Yeah. But I'll take that Final Four last year. I'm glad it worked out the way it did to a large degree. I don't remember what my other point was, but it'll come back to me. But yeah, I know. The other point was, yes, I'm disappointed. Yes. You and I have a long track record on this long podcast because this is our
14th.
15th season coming up. 15.
Good golly.
12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 4, 5, 26. This is our 15th year.
Too many.
We have a long history of defending coaches when we feel that they deserve to be defended. And then when we no longer feel that they deserve it, then we will say, all right, let's make a change. But you and I never jump with both feet into the fire the coach the first time we're upset boat. And that's what I think some people don't like. Right? They want to just pull the panic lever the second anything goes wrong. And we have always maintained that if what we have can be made successful, that is better than throwing everything out and starting over again and again and again. Right.
Well, I mean, this is my view of this team. Like, are they disappointing? Yes. Were they wildly inconsistent? Yes. Are there multiple games they probably should have won, any one of which would put them in the tournament? Yes. If the officials rule the freaking Texas A&M game ending differently, we're in the tournament, and all this talk is nothing. That's literally like a micro call in one game early in the SEC schedule. If they call it the other way, Auburn wins. We're in the tournament right now. None of this Stephen Pearl talk is out there. So, like, literally, it comes down to that. If you think that call makes Stephen Pearl a bad coach, then whatever.
Go back and check the tapes. I said at the time after that A&M game that could be huge. I was very upset about that call, you may remember. Mm-hmm. But where I was going with that was that, yes, we have reason to be disappointed. Yes, we have reason to be upset that this team is in all likelihood not going to make the tournament. And they'll do well to win one game in the SEC tournament, which, by the way, would be one game in the SEC tournament more than Bruce won in like 8 of his seasons. But okay. That number is staggering. I used to have it over here on my notepad, but I deleted it finally, and now we brought it back up again. I wish I hadn't, but I'll ask it to you in just a second. But because I think I have it memorized. But I was going to say, now Stephen gets to recruit his own team. And I'll say this. A year from now, if he has recruited a crap lineup, not made the roster any better, and we miss the tournament again, then absolutely I will be in line with everybody else saying maybe we've messed up. But he hasn't even gotten to recruit his own team yet. So I feel like you've got to give him at least an entire another cycle.
I think we're going to give him a couple of other cycles regardless of what happens. So.
Yes. Here's the number I had in my mind. Let me see. So Bruce's first season, 2014, we made it all the way to SEC tournament championship game and lost to somebody. I don't even remember who. Okay. So we won like 3 games that year. Okay. How many other seasons that we didn't go to the Final Four, did Bruce win any SEC tournament games? After his first year, when we were like the dark horse and came out of nowhere and got to the title game, after that year, in the remaining 11, how many years did Bruce coach? He's our coach. 12?
I thought it was like 15.
Well, yeah, he started in 13-14, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it 14-15? Anyway, it was a good solid decade plus. In a good solid decade plus, not counting his first season, how many seasons when we didn't go to the Final Four did we win any games in the SEC tournament, John?
One.
The year before the Final Four team last year. They won the SEC tournament. They won 3 games and won the SEC tournament, and that's the only wins that we had in all of Bruce's years in the SEC tournament, other than year 1, is that 1 year that we didn't go to the Final Four. And I say that just to say, you look back at Bruce and people think he went to the Final Four every year and won the SEC tournament every year. And it's, we kind of look through rose-colored glasses back at stuff. It's the same way we look back at Pat Dye, right? When Pat Dye was the football coach, everybody complained that he couldn't win the big game. And then as soon as he's gone, Pat Dye never lost a game. He was a saint. Why did we ever let him go? He was the greatest.
Offense was so innovative.
Oh, that run up the middle punt was the most innovative thing ever seen. I know, but see, because we remember it. But people look back with rose-colored glasses and they don't remember the truth, which is that the greatest coaches still have issues and have things that people complain about.
I said this on this podcast a couple weeks ago. 5 years ago, not 100 years ago, 5 years ago, Bruce Pearl, the coach who was so much better than Stephen Pearl, coached a team to a losing record that had more talent than this team.
Yes, that's right. The Sharif Cooper team?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, that team drove me to drink. They picked me up, Ubered me to the bar, and drove me to drink. All right. Well, so let me ask you a couple of questions here. I've got some 1 to 10, or I guess 0 to 10 questions for you. I want you to deliberate each one of these. Question number 1. On a scale of 1 to 10, I guess you can go 0 if you feel that way, but I don't think anybody is. No zeros. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your confidence, no confidence? What is your confidence level? This would be the classic no confidence vote. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your confidence level in Stephen Pearl as our head coach right now?
9.
9. Wow. Okay. Okay.
I think he's a new head coach. I think he's going to be fine.
I'm at 6.5, which is on the good side of halfway.
Yep.
That's on the good side, but I live too close to Missouri. You got to show me. Okay. Number 2 out of 3. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you want Stephen Pearl to be our head basketball coach next season?
10.
10. Me too, because in that way, I want him to get a chance to prove himself either way. And if he craps it out, so be it. So be it. So be it.
Then so be it.
It is the right thing to do. And if you fire him now, you're going to have a hard time attracting good coaches. Because you're like, oh, those Auburn people, they don't just wave the gun around.
Ding, 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 ding. That is huge. Yes, they're not waving. We're waving the gun around now because we're freaking Auburn. This is what we do. We're just like, ooh, look out, Sheriff. I got my 6 guns in my hand, Sheriff. Look out. And we're going to get a bullet right in the head. It's going to look like a scene from Tombstone. Yeah, I saw Ringo and the guy from Avatar that played the really bumbling villain on Tombstone. Who was You know that Johnny Ringo in Tombstone was also the main good guy in Terminator, right?
Yes.
So he was talking to the other guy who was the guy from I hate this.
I'm looking it up now. Keep going.
He was Stonewall Jackson in the Civil War movies. Ted Turner did and then he was, oh crap. Anyway, they're two of the villains from Tombstone. And Ringo says, he says, we had that talk that one day on the set. And the other one's like, I don't remember. What do we say? And I said, there's too many leading men here. And the other one goes, then leave. Quit. I'm not going anywhere. But this was funny too. They said all those actors that were on that set would go out and drink at night, as you can imagine. So there's Johnny Ringo and Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer and Sam Elliott and Bill Paxton and all those guys. And they said it's like the mid 90s. Who out of that entire cast was getting the most attention and people fawning all over them?
I don't know.
Jason Priestley, because he was on 90210 at that time. Out of all these great movie stars, and they're falling, the waitresses and the women are falling all over Jason freaking Priestley. Anyway, I just throw a digression in just to kind of freshen things up a little bit so I don't get too sad. All right, so that was how much you want to make. Here's your last one. This is a big one, so think about it. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that Stephen Pearl will be our head coach in 3 to 5 years? And you can go 3 or 5 or in between or whatever makes you comfortable.
In 3 years, I am a 9 confident that he will be our coach because I think Auburn's going to give him all the leash in the world. Okay. In 5 years, I'm an 8 confident because I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be our coach. Okay. All right. There you go. That's good. But I'm sure that some of our listeners disagree with my answers.
I'm going to say in 3 years, I'm at a 7, and in 5 years, I'm at a 5, but I want it to work out because I always want it to work out. I wanted Hugh Freeze to work out up to a certain point, John. I wanted potatoes to work out. That just was never going to, but we didn't know it. No.
You could want pigs to fly. It doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Ding, ding, ding. John has it correct. Pigs will fly out of my little fluffy rear end if the day he's ever a good coach. So let's look at the LSU game first on Tuesday. By the way, Auburn plays at 2 o'clock?
We'll get to it.
Wednesday? Okay. All right, we'll get to it. So Auburn beat LSU 88-74. That was a pretty good game. We even got to put all the scrubs in, all the practice players in at the end, and we still won by 14. So what did you think about the LSU game?
Well, it's the regular formula. Auburn played actual good defense, and therefore Auburn won. LSU is a bad team, but Auburn still showed up and played good defense in this game. Auburn had 15 assists and 9 turnovers, so we didn't have the big turnover problems we've had in all the other games recently we lost, in addition to the bad defense. And Pettiford and Overton both had really good games. They were strong in this.
Thank you, LSU. So from January 31st until the end of February, how many games did we win? Off the top of your head. Don't go look. Just tell me. What do you think? One. Yes, Kentucky. Unbelievable. Just a couple more in there.
Here's one for you. Out of the best 10 defensive games we played, what was our record? And out of the best 10 offensive games we played, what was our record?
You mean our best 10 games we or against opponents?
Our statistically best defensive games, those 10, what was our record? And our statistically best offensive games, 10 games, what was our record?
I'm going to say our best 10 defensive games, we were 7-3.
9-1.
Wow. That's huge. What was the one? Was it like Arizona or something, or Michigan or somebody like that? When we were never going to win, no matter how good a defense. All right, 10 best offensive games. I bet our record was like 4-6.
It was like 1-9.
Good.
And the one was Texas. And you remember we described that Texas game and the second half of that Texas game as literally the best offense Auburn has ever played.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. We just outscored them, just ran away.
Yeah. That's a Justin Ferguson stat.
That's a huge thing right there, because it just shows what matters. And you remember Steven said that our whole Auburn basketball philosophy is if you play hard Auburn defense on one end, you can kind of do what you want on the other end. Now, there's times I think that's brilliant, and there's times I think that it's stupid.
I agree. But again, I think this team played good enough defense to go into Gainesville and win.
Yes.
It's a thing they could do.
That must have been number one on our defensive performance.
Oh, yeah.
At least adjusted for opponent, yeah.
There was another stat that was out today, and it ranked all the wins by all the teams in college basketball by how good they were this year, how valuable they were. And that was like the third best win by anybody in all of college basketball this season.
By a team that's not even going to make the freaking tournament. That's what's so mind-boggling about it. You have to lose a lot of crap games to beat Florida and still not make the tournament. And guess what? February.
We did it.
This was the worst February in Auburn basketball history relative to the team and the season. I think there's probably been worse Auburn basketball teams that probably won one game in February. Maybe, I don't know, maybe. Sure. But they weren't going into February with 100% chance of going to the NCAA tournament.
That's right. They didn't.
Not a one of them.
This is the biggest collapse I ever remember by Auburn.
This is the worst month in terms of consequences and how it played out and who we lost to and how many we lost. This was the single worst. February was the worst month in Auburn basketball history, other than when we hired Barbie. That whole month was just ruined because of that. Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's see. So LSU was fun. And I honestly, the thing about the LSU game was just, we just needed a W. We just needed a
desperate. We were people crawling across the desert looking for that oasis to stick our head in.
It's like if you've just eaten 15 spoons of peanut butter straight, you just got to have a glass of milk, just to cleanse the palate a little bit. Cause you're just like, you got to have something. So, all right. So tell us a little bit about the game I didn't hardly watch with even one eyeball, Alabama.
Van, the first 5 minutes of this game were so bad. It is difficult for me to state on this podcast using non-curse words how bad it was. Okay. I'm not kidding. It was like Alabama, easy layup. Auburn, stupid turnover. Alabama, easy layup. Auburn, stupid turnover. Alabama, easy layup. Auburn, missed shot. Alabama, easy layup. You turn around and it was like 10-2. And we hadn't we got the ball across the 3-point line like one time. And it wasn't like Alabama was a swarm of piranhas on defense. We were just like, oh, there's the ball,
Yeah. I have actual audio from the team huddle during the first time out. No! There it is.
That was me at my house. That was me watching the game with my son yelling at the TV.
Here was John. Oh my God!
Yes. Yes, that was it.
Here was John 10 minutes. Here was John 10 minutes later.
Smoke weed every day.
You got that right. So in the first half, a few minutes later, we're down 20. Okay, we're literally down 20. There was like, this Auburn team was so done. You could stick a fork in them and put the box in the car because it was over. There wasn't any. Now again, we won the second half. Okay. We outscored them in the second half.
Ooh.
And we did end up playing better offense. Some of that is because Alabama was like, these guys are never beating us. But it was also because we just stopped turning the freaking ball over, and Alabama can't play any dang defense. They're terrible at defense, and we finally just started shooting our foot off every time down the court and scored some.
Aren't they like number one team in 3-point shots, and we're
Yes.
350 in defending 3-point shots? That was not a good matchup from the get-go, from the jump.
Except we stopped them there. They only shot 7 of 27 from 3-point range, one of their worst games of the season. But Van, it did not matter because it was like a parade down Main Street of them going to the basket down the lane, and Auburn players were like, "Olay!" You know, it was like
that flashlight.
We're bringing you in.
Here is actual audio of me looking away from the team trivia occasionally to see the situation in the game.
What the hell is the world coming to?
That was me right there. And then most Auburn fans looking at us getting in the NCAA tournament for like a week now have been saying,
"You don't want it, and you may not win."
I got nothing for those people. I want it. I always want to be in the tournament. You always have a chance. Weird stuff happens. Put us in the tournament.
It's like they want to punish the team and the coaches by not getting to play another game. I don't understand it. It's so weird.
It's because people aren't having fun. I mean, it's not a fun style basketball. We haven't had a lot of fun games recently. I get it. But again, if we go out and beat Mississippi State and play, have a fun game, I am so in. So it was, again, Alabama is the highest scoring team in college basketball. And we gave them a bunch of turnovers and gave them a bunch of offensive rebounds. Then there was a point in the first half where they said some stat on TV that it literally almost killed me. They had taken 11 shots and gotten 9 offensive rebounds, or they'd missed 11 shots at that point in the game and gotten 9 offensive rebounds.
So you can go
what
7.
Are we doing?
You can go 7 for 27 if you keep getting offensive rebound.
Well, and it didn't matter the 3-pointers didn't matter because they shot like 70% from 2 because every basket was basically an uncontested layup in this game.
I've been wanting to say this for a while, and I don't ever think about it when we're on the air, but think about this. That the shots that there's 2 kind of shots you see all the time now in basketball. The 3-point shot from way outside, getting further from the line every day, it seems like, and then right under the goal.
Sure, that's the Alabama offensive design.
The mid-range jumper is not seen nearly as much as it was a few years ago. But here's the thing. Players, I've been tracking this kind of unofficially. I've been tracking this for the last 2 or 3 seasons. I just never think to talk about it until now. They make those shots. I mean, it seems to me that every time I've watched a basketball game, about 90% of those 10-foot to 5 to 10-foot jumpers goes in. They make those shots. They just don't ever take them.
Ben, I got some bad news for you. The nerds, the dorks, the quants have taken over basketball like they took over baseball, and the moneyballization of basketball is pretty much complete. And part of the analysis is that it's just 3-pointers and layups or the smart shots to take, and that those mid-range jump shots, the percentages don't add up to make it worthwhile. It's not, if you do the other things, you have a better chance of long-term success. That's why, that's Alabama's offense, because that's a lot of NBA teams' offense. That's all they do.
Threes and layups.
That's it.
I guess you can recruit a certain type of player, and that's what Oates has been successful with.
Yes.
By doing that. I really need Alabama to get stuck as about a Sweet 16 or worse team, though, so he'll feel like the grass is greener somewhere else. NBA. I don't like him being in Alabama. I want him gone.
He needs to go to NBA. And again, Kentucky will try again to throw a truckload of money at him in the next year or 2, probably.
Yes, by all means. I mean, we've beaten Kentucky the last few years more often than they've beaten us. So that's not a natural phenomenon, and I'm okay with that reverting back to normal more or less, as long as we still get a win here and there, especially in Auburn. But I would rather the good coach go to Kentucky and just Kentucky be Kentucky than have Kentucky still be good and Alabama be good. I don't need them both really good. No.
I agree.
Not that they both are really good, but right now. But you know what I mean. So yeah. All right.
I wanted to say, in the second half, I turned the TV off. It's something I never do during an Auburn sporting event, basketball or football. I never do this, but I was so disgusted, I turned the television off the second half of this game.
That was me leaving at halftime of the Georgia game in 2003. I'm like, I know what's going to happen. There's just no point. At that point, you're only watching to get specific to talk about on this podcast. Right? That's it. And I just was like, you know what? If our listeners want to come at me because there was an Auburn football or basketball event in the last 15 years that I actually didn't pay that close attention to for once, come ahead. Because I got better things to do to make me happy in life than just sit there screaming at the television. Or in this case, sitting in the middle of a team trivia tournament, screaming at my phone.
That's right.
My about-to-be son-in-law is a huge Detroit Pistons fan, and so he's been pretty miserable the last few years too. But they're playing pretty good now, so I'm hoping he'll have some happiness. But he's also a long-suffering Detroit Lions fan, so you can imagine.
Tough.
He has a rough life in sports. The Lions and the Pistons, man. At least he wasn't even alive, I don't think,
when the Pistons were good
in 89 and 90 when they won when they were the bad boys. Yeah. I've regaled him with tales of the bad boys. Because that was like the only time I ever really paid attention to the NBA. It was like the late 80s, early 90s. And then by the time of the Dream Team, I was pretty much done. So, well. Right, what else have we got?
I want to talk, before we get to the upcoming games, talk about the tournament. I wanted to point out there was a data visualization that a guy put out on Twitter. A guy named Evan Maya does these basketball statistical visualizations. Here's all these teams in the country. He plots them on some X and Y axis stuff. And a lot of it's usually pretty interesting. I follow him. I like his stuff a lot. And he did one earlier this week about basically, did you under or overachieve with the talent on your roster? And I was kind of shocked to see when he put that out, Auburn was not in the underachieving category. Wow. That he basically had Auburn as the 35th best team in the country in the preseason, and in the regular season ended, he has Auburn as the 40th best team in the country. So they were in this kind of big middle swath with most teams, and they were toward the bottom of that middle swath, but in the middle swath. And there were about 10 teams that are way above their talent level, and about 10 teams that are way below their talent level. And like Ole Miss was in that group, for example. And Auburn, I thought it was surprising, but I thought it was interesting also because, like, I want to go back to the preseason. These guys were saying, like, Auburn's the 35th best team in the country. Auburn was picked. What were we picked in the SEC? 7th, 8th.
We're 9th? Always picked too low. We're usually picked too low.
But that's what we said, and we said, "Oh, this guy's too low," and 7th or 8th or 9th is too low. But the reality, like, all that stuff was pretty much right. And again, for the fans who don't want us to be in the tournament, we're like the 40th best team in the country. We're not the 100th best team in the country or the 200th best team in the country. We're the 40th best team in the country, but only 64 teams get in, and there's only so many at-large bids, and that's why we're not going to get in.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's all the little Maryville type schools that get in and fill out.
There's 30 automatic bids and like 34 at large bids, and we're number 40. We're not going to get it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But I just thought that was interesting because from an objective level analysis, Auburn didn't have that much talent to begin with. I think some of these people that are mad at Stephen Pearl think there's more talent on this team than there is.
Right. Yeah. So, I did it again. I keep thinking of something and then I forget it. So, oh well. Oh, no, that we were, 35, 40. I'm not doing an if game, but I think the reason we ended 40, we started 35 and ended 40 there, you count the A&M basket and you don't play like garbage at Oklahoma in front of 7 fans. Those 2 games alone,
the stupid Old Miss at home game hurt us. Like that was an actively bad loss.
Yeah. In other words, what I'm saying is you can't change those things because that's who we were. But if they had gone just slightly different in a couple of games, I think this team would have been above 35.
Oh yeah. No, I mean the very first game was, remember, Georgia we lost by 4 in overtime, and a whole bunch of fluky crud happened at the end of that game.
Yes. Yeah, and we made the crazy shot to go to overtime.
We also remember this is the dark ages now. We lost by 1 to Houston.
Yes.
In the very early in the season, but 1-point game to Houston
on the road. Yeah,
that was that weird game in Birmingham.
Oh, was it? Okay. But yeah, we came so close that was when we thought this was a really good team, right? We almost beat Houston. And then we kind of got brought down to earth a little bit with Michigan and Arizona and Purdue or whatever.
Yeah.
But even then we're like, okay, well, those teams are in the stratosphere, and they're going to be number 1 seeds or whatever. So it wasn't losing to Michigan by 30 that hurt us this year. It was losing to Ole Miss and Oklahoma.
That's right. And we lost by 4 to Alabama at home in a game when we were playing really well in the first half. We lost the game again, the overtime game at Georgia, the game to Texas A&M, and then went on the road and we played cruddy at Missouri. So, in a game you witnessed.
I remember that. Yeah, very well. All right. So Wednesday, 2:00 Central, somewhere in there, 2:30 Eastern. You say? I think
probably 3 Eastern, probably closer.
SEC Network, Mississippi State. So I guess the way it played out, we ended up with Mississippi State instead of Mississippi. We got Josh Hubbard coming into Bridgestone to face us. We limited him pretty well in the second half of that game. He was just unconscious in the first half. And I mean, I don't think, yes, at first he was getting a lot of looks, but there were shots in the first half he was making falling down sideways. I mean, he was just out of this world in the first half. Second, if we can defend him the entire game the way that Overton defended him in the second half, we should have a shot to win this game.
No, they're they're the 13th seed for a reason. Like, he's the only good scorer in that team. They're a bad defensive team. We just got to play a little bit better defense against them. And it was at their court. We're on a neutral site now. We play a little bit better defense on him, have a guy and a half covering him when he gets off the bus, and we have a chance to win this game. And if we win, we play Tennessee.
I was going to say, your prize if you win is you play Tennessee, who beat you pretty solidly in Knoxville.
Who did, but who's kind of fallen off a little bit since then.
Have they? I haven't been keeping an eye on them.
They're the 5 seed.
I find Tennessee basketball tedious, so I don't pay much attention to them when we're not playing.
You're not the only person. I think a lot of other people think they're tedious as well.
Yes. So, and then interestingly, lurking after that is Vanderbilt. So if we do somehow find a way to beat Tennessee, then we get the other Tennessee product. And by the way, and the entire tournament is being played in the state of Tennessee, which is not helpful.
That's right.
Great. My wife asked me a while ago. She said, "If it was being played in St. Louis this year, would you go?" And I'm like, "Well, of course." I mean, I know we're crap, but we got a shot to win the first game.
Listen to Van Plexico, people. That's the answer.
Well, I mean, if I have a chance to see our team play, I'm going to go regardless of the situation. And I've sat through a lot of losses in football and basketball. It doesn't bother me. I mean, it bothers me in the sense of, oh crap, we didn't win, but it doesn't bother me in the sense of I think we're going to lose, so I'm not going to go. Right?
That's right.
I go. when the last time it was here was 18, I believe, when our team was just like, we were a jet fighter that had shot down some good enemy planes in battle. But as the end of the war was coming up, we'd lost a wing. We'd lost some landing gear. Fuel was spraying out the back, and we were on fire. And I knew that. And I still went and saw us play Alabama in the first round. It was not pretty. But I was not going to stay home. I mean, there was Auburn playing right across the river from me over here, 30 minutes away. Of course I was going to go. So, all right. So what else have we got about basketball?
We're moving on to a week from yesterday. The bracket comes out. Well, okay. No, wait, I skipped ahead. I'm sorry. I did want to say this. There are some stupid scenarios where Auburn still gets in. Okay.
People always tell me that the SEC tournament doesn't matter because they've already made up their mind before it starts. Is that true or false?
I think that's more true than we want to admit. I think if Auburn wins, we could say, like, how many games does Auburn need to win, right? I think there's stupid scenarios where Auburn gets in without winning a game, which I think it's not I'm going to put that at like 15%. Okay. But it ain't zero. There's a website called Bracket Matrix that looks at every all
Does
the
this mean that certain teams have to lose in their conference tournaments or something, like to clear out the way?
Yes,
okay.
And a lot of that is already happening. Like a lot of the other bubble teams have lost.
Okay,
or lost last weekend in their last regular season games, and so this. Like a Bracket Matrix, it takes like the best 77 people in the country at predicting the NCAA tournament and compares their brackets to see who makes it. And so there's 77 potential brackets. And right now, today, Auburn is in the tournament in 11 of those brackets.
Wow.
Now, Auburn's an 11 seed in those, so it's probably going to be not pleasant. But
you don't see many SEC or major Power 5 conferences with an 11 seed. That doesn't happen very often.
No. So it's not good, but we literally are in like the group of the first 3 or 4 teams out and all those things. So other fluky things.
First 4 out is what I always.
That's it. It's that teams lose, we make it in. I'm just saying.
That's fine with me. I'll take it. I
would too. In a minute. Listen, I'll be camping out in front of the TV. We get in the freaking NCAA tournament. So that part matters. I think if we win 2 games, if we beat Mississippi State and Tennessee, then I would say I think we're in.
We ought to be at that point because we would show that we turned it around. We'd be 3 out of 4 rather than 1 out of 8 or whatever February was.
So here's another thing I want to throw at you. Like we got our brains beat in with a lead pipe on Saturday night, man.
Yeah.
I would like to see a little bit of pride on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about for the jersey or that kind of stuff. I'm just talking about, I don't want to go out that way.
Right. Yeah. No, whatever motivates them, I'm for it. Whatever makes those players get fired up. Remember, one of the things that got last year's team fired up was that the key code to get into the Coliseum was 2019.
It was the Yale game thing, right? Yes. It was the Final 4 year previous. Yes.
Yes. They are like, the 2019 team gets all the attention. We want to be up there with them. Yeah. Good. Whatever works.
They also had the Yale score in the around a lot last year. So.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That because you remember 2 years ago is such a weird team. They did better in the SEC tournament than the Final 4 team did. They finished out the season arguably better, and then they go out and lose to Yale in the first freaking game of the tournament. It's crazy. That will always see. Last year was such a salve for that. Getting to the Final 4 again, winning the state of Michigan championship in the Elite 8, in the Sweet 16, Getting through those first 2 games are always tricky. All of that was such a balm for the previous year that I'd almost forgotten how miserable I was. We win the SEC tournament, and then we turn around and lose to freaking Yale. That was, I mean, because you remember we were saying that was a team that's what would have happened in 2019 if that dude made that 3-point shot for New Mexico State.
That's right.
And we'd never know that we had a Final Four team there because it didn't look like one up until then. Of course, that always makes me go back. I was just talking about this the other day with somebody. That always takes me back to 2020. I'm never going to get over that 2020 team not having a chance to prove itself in the postseason because the only thing they were missing was Chuma and Bryce and Jarrett. They had everything else, and they were playing so good at the end. And stupid virus comes along of all things and messes it up.
Yep.
And in hindsight, they probably should have kept playing the games. I don't think it would have made that much of a difference. But we didn't know that at the time. All right. Do we have anything going on in the realm of Auburn football?
Spring practice right around the corner.
Yeah.
Getting ready to get started. So you were getting ready to have a ton of Auburn football news and football to talk about. So I think it's getting ready to come.
Bring it on, my friend.
I agree. Can't wait to talk about football.
You can always tell that it's like February and March because our dear friend Zach Blackerby's daily, can you imagine, daily Auburn show is having to find things in football to talk about, and he really has to. God bless him. Zach has to scratch the bottom of the barrel sometimes to find stuff to talk about for 20 minutes on there, and it's impressive that he comes up with stuff, because I'm like, we go a week between shows, and I still got nothing.
But also, I'm not going to talk about stuff to talk about it. I don't. Yeah. We talked about the stadium thing.
Yeah.
Spring football's coming. We'll learn a lot more when we get to that place.
Well, and now that basketball is maybe winding down, we can roll out some of the stuff we were going to talk about earlier, and then I got the flu and kind of messed us up. So we got a few football topics coming up. We're going to do a kind of a buy sell programs around the SEC type thing, and we're going to do we did want to do one of our rewatchables that we do, and we were talking about doing, was it the 94 LSU game we were talking about doing, or is there another one or something? There was some game we were talking about doing.
I think we were talking about the LSU game.
Yeah, so we'll get to that. I always have fun. We've been doing like one a year of those. I guess that's probably about as much as we can handle. So we did 94 Florida the first time. We did 85 Florida State the second time. So yeah, we can look at the LSU game. That'll be fun. All right. So stay tuned for that kind of stuff coming up. Don't forget, we have a March Madness bracket challenge that the patrons get to participate in. If you're going to do it, you better get it done this week.
If you want to join as a patron right now, because Van's going to send me the email list this weekend. The bracket goes up Sunday, and I'm going to have the pick 'em set up. We're going to send out emails Sunday night probably. So
yeah, there you go. We have our Fantasy Formula One League, and I was just going to let folks know that the site crashed, and it's back. So I can tell you, the Fantasy Formula One site is pretty crappy, but I can tell you that Lane Middleton is currently leading because he very cleverly, in his comeback season team, he very cleverly has Max Verstappen and Mercedes as his constructor, which is probably a smart thing to do. He's got 270 points after one race. The Australia, there may not be a couple of races coming up here this month because there's one that was supposed to be in Saudi Arabia and one in Qatar, and those are both questionable if they're going to happen. So we'll see. They've got China and Japan, I think, next, and then we'll see if they don't have a month-long break. But Eric Morgan's Mississippi Racing 2 is in second. Michael Kirshner's Formula Mark 1. Zachary Doran F1 team. Rob Morgan's Kind of Orange and Blue is in fifth. Eric Morgan's Mississippi. The Morgans are just killing it. And then my two teams are in seventh and eighth. One of my teams has got George Russell. The other has got Charles Leclerc. So I kind of did the Ferrari top driver, Mercedes constructor, and Mercedes top driver, Ferrari constructor. I probably should have just lumped them together on both and gone with it. Let's see. You have number 12. Let me just run through it. Let's see. Patrick Williams in 9th, Rob Morgan in 10th, Richard Stevens in 10. There's a Ty and John and the other Lane Middleton team for 12. And then on down like that. Let's see if there's Jared's down in 24 and 25. God bless you, Jared. All right. So, Fantasy Formula One. If you want to play, you've only missed one race, so just go to www.auwishbone.com, become a patron, and it's like the most recent post on the Patreon page has the link and all the information. There's not a lot to it. All right, let's thank the patrons. So the AU Wishbone is presented commercial free. Thanks to all of our great patrons via patreon.com. Visit www.auwishbone.com. Do just like Boris did. He went to www.auwishbone.com and he clicked on the big orange button with his big paw here. And he became a patron, and we'll get his name up here in just a minute. www.auwishbone.com. We have to thank, as always, to kick things off, our title sponsor for worst coaches in the world, the great Samuel Salvatore. And also, we have Logan Chilton, who reminds us that what do we sacrifice to be an Auburn fan?
So what do I sacrifice? Everything.
You know, John, I had to say this. We've got to find a way to win on Wednesday in Nashville with what we've got on the court, because
Larry Bird's not walking through that door, fans. Kevin McHale's not walking through that door, and Robert Parrish is not walking through that door.
That's it.
Dennis Johnson's not walking through that door either.
No. A couple of Keyshawn's are coming in, and a Tahad, and a Kevin, and a Sway. So, yes. So we'll see. Let's see. Ben Spooner, man, if we lose on Wednesday, that would be
Blasphemy!
Amen. Carl Von Drunker, Chris and Clinton Stewart. Baseball is straight up killing it right now. We do need to talk more about baseball. Earl Ricks, Phil Amthor giving John and Van a break from... No! I'm not playing the whole thing until I have to. Since those dismal years are over, I hope, at least for football. Yeah, Richard Stevens, Steve Trewick, Ann Pridgeon, Shane Bailey, Susan Trewick, Willie Carden, Wynn from Norman, Oklahoma, Gary Grant, a.k.a. AU fan at KSC, William Morgan, Bradley Blackman, Eric Morgan. There's all the Morgans that are killing it in Formula One. Michael Kirshner, he is too. War Eagle John and Van, David W.D. Sammons Esquire, G Money. That whole tier, we really appreciate you guys too. John, I'm wanting to put together a new audio intro. I wanted it for the basketball season, but I wasn't able to find it. I've said this before. If I can just get somebody to find me the audio of Andy Burcham saying that Auburn's going to the Final Four when we beat Michigan State, I want to put that in as a kind of like a substitute. We can swap in and out with the Sonny Smith one. And then I'm going to have our voiceover, either Mira or Amy or whoever does it for it, to say, and now here are the authorities.
Nice.
Yeah. See, so give us a new, I'm kind of tipping my hand here, but I've been wanting to do this for weeks and I can't find that audio. So I can't do it until then.
Somebody must have that audio recording of that game. Please let us know.
Yeah. The Auburn Network audio. I've looked on YouTube and it's not there. All that's there is Vern Lundquist. So Rich Reimer, Steve Harlan, Wes Atkinson, Dan Thompson, a few more patrons, then back to the authorities. Catherine England, Will Summerford, no one fights like Gaston, War Eagle always, Jacob and Robin Fleming, Mickey B, Winston Body, washed up fantasy F1 team principal. I didn't know that Christian Horner was a was a patron of our show. Who knew? That's pretty cool. Brandon Smith, Daniel Odom, 2008-2009 Taliban Wrangler World Champion. We need more of them. H-Town Danny, WDE Richie, Chris Hilton, Bob, WDE Salmons, Auburn University Debate Team 7475, and current Sleazy Shyster. Algo Rhythm and Blues, Rusty Owens, goodbye you. Goodbye sadness. Hello happiness. Luther and Kelly Ottaway. When I was a kid, my mother told me I could be anyone I wanted to be. Turns out identity theft is a crime. You should always be yourself, John, unless you can be Batman. In that case, you want to be Batman.
Amen.
That's just helpful advice from the AU Wishbone. Todd Robinson, although I'm an Iron Man guy. I feel like Iron Man is Batman, but he's actually having fun, not just pretending to have fun, and I appreciate that. Todd Robinson, a.k.a. Undisputed 2012 Doubles Badminton Intramural Champion. Chad McDowell, Auburn Football's Elvis, Wade Ward, Reynolds Wolf, already did this thing. Philip Martin, Jeff Hunter, David G. is the health and safety rep for Joe's Barbecue and Foot Massage. I think I do it about as well as it needs to be done, but I'll go dig that sound clip up if I need to. Mark Margolis. Welcome aboard. Mark's our newest patron. Timothy, Russell Milling, Randall Walker, David Simpson, Josh Teal, Tony Perry, Rob Morgan. Oh, there's that other Morgan. That whole Morgan gang, right? Isn't that who they faced on Deadwood? I mean, on Tombstone was the Morgan clan or whatever.
It was the shootout at the OK Corral. That's what happens at the end of that.
Wasn't that the Morgans? I think it was the or am I thinking about Morgan Earp? I may be thinking about Morgan Earp.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was a different creep. Anyway, well, the Morgan clan on Patreon is they've been the biggest thorn in our fantasy Formula One winning side the last couple of years, and I give them credit, along with
the Clintons.
The Clantons. That was it. It was the Clantons. Yeah. Ike Clanton was the guy I was trying to think of earlier. It was Ike Clanton and Johnny Ringo talking, and that was the two of them were very funny. Yeah. He said Ike Clanton, that actor, Stephen, whatever. He said, yeah. He said Ike Clanton's the only guy he ever saw that could run away in a cowardly fashion while giving you bitter, horrible insults to your name as he's running away in fried. It was kind of interesting. Patrick Williams says the AU Wishbone.
Whether you like it or not, learn to love it because it's the best thing going today. Woo!
That's right. Construction Tiger, Papa Todd, Cato the SEC Pick'em Champion, Stephen Houston, Kevin Mahan, Blake Heron, Sarah Hines, Sasquatch, 7-time North America Hide and Seek champion, last year's bracket winner, Tim Pittman, our own beloved third banana, Boris the Tiger, Charles Mooney, the chef fired his accountant because they wouldn't cook the books. David D, Auburn Blue. If John survives the dad jokes, it'll be a miracle. Dr. Crackham, Bill Weathers, Eternal Glory. Walt is at least excited for baseball, softball, golf, tennis, and dare I say it, football. Man, Walt, I hope you're right. Antoine Morris, ABB. That's right. Wiggeber, the 2005 Auburn University Intramural Horseshoes champion. Tyler Ward, Mark Squire. Cue the anthem, boys. Oh, here we go. Auburn, number one. Oh, I guess I'll give it there you go. Alex Wynn, Kenneth Brent Rain says the barbecue.
You have failed me for the last time.
AKA Auburn Dead for Life. And yet somehow we keep coming back. And it'll be barbecue time before you know it. This is what, March? So April, May, June, July, August. 4 or 5 months from now. It'd be barbecue time again. Is your stomach going to be able to stand it again? I don't know. At some point, it becomes hazardous to our health to keep doing that.
Listen, when my doctor forbids it, then we'll have a conversation about changing doctors, I guess. I don't know.
I was going to say, if your doctor knew about it, you'd have that conversation. You'd have already had that conversation. You're eating what at 11 o'clock at night? Smoked meats at 11 o'clock at night? You fool.
Some kind of performative YouTube thing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. What? Yeah, exactly. John Stubbs, Clay Henson, Justin Bean, James Taylor, Ruth, and Darren Sutherland, Ben, Amos, Spanky, AU Wishbone, my new happy place. Larry Bird is not walking through that door. Robert Parrish is not walking through that door. That's why I just played it. That's fine. Chris Como, Darren Pyle, Theodore Gary, David Smiley, Trevor Johnson, Royce Alvarez, college equestrian expert Auburn Elvis, AAU Falling Up, John Otsuki, Paul Banks, and MVP captivating Kathy Bright.
You don't have any friends. Nobody likes you.
But enough about this Auburn basketball team. Ben Regas, Bobby Polite, Elizabeth Donald, that was harsh. I'll buy this for $1. Rich Hammett, Chris Braun, Alex Browns, the Slinko family, Daniel Witten, Tim Sauls, Jim McCrory. Why did the frog take the bus to work? His car got towed. We're going to kill John. Doctor, I'm eating smoked meats at 11 o'clock at night, and the joke.
I was going to say, barbecue, fine. Dad jokes.
Yeah.
That's not fine.
That's what's doing the circulatory damage to us, I'm afraid. He was Tiger. New York Tiger has an office in a tree house because he is a branch manager. That's pretty good. Oh, I've always said there's got to be a book, right? And finally, CT Tiger, Jim Myers, Trey Jackson, Howard Franz, Peter Wang, Willie Moe, Zach Doran, and Chris. Oh, Zach's one of our fantasy Formula One drivers, owners too, I remember. And Chris, plus our one-time anonymous donors, we thank you all. Go to www.auwishbone.com. And now I just keep skipping sections until we get down to.
Thank you. Order. Questions to the Prime Minister.
It's time for listener questions. Dun, 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 on the AU Wishbone podcast.
And the little tiny voice saying that is graduating from high school in about 2 months.
Oof. I don't know, Van. That's a lot of podcast. While I'm reading the first question, you need to go check your email from an email from me where I forwarded you the audio from another question. All right. This one says, hello, John and Van. As a longtime Auburn fan, I was happy to recently discover your excellent podcasts and other work. I just read first time ever, terrific stuff. And I've just signed up as a paid member, so I wanted to submit my first listener question. Ooh. My Auburn fandom goes back to when I was growing up in Dothan, Alabama in the late 70s, and I was in the stands for the Wrong Way Bow game in 1984, Lawyer Tillman's reverse in 86, first time ever, Cam's long TD run versus LSU in 2010, among others. And to help establish my Auburn bona fides, I'd mentioned I instantly knew it was the 2014 Auburn Ole Miss game in your most recent Guess the Game segment. Nice. All that being said, I did not actually attend Auburn, and I've always felt slightly uncomfortable about saying War Eagle. I feel that as just a fan and not an alum, I'm not truly entitled to say War Eagle. What do you say? Should I embrace it, or am I right to be reticent? Thanks, and well, Mark M. from New York City. P.S. My favorite Auburn nickname is Walter Barbecue Tate. That's a pretty good one.
Oh, that he should be the patron saint player of our podcast with a name like that. We should have like a poster back here or behind you or both.
Walter Tate. I like it.
Wow. All right. First, I think he was saying reticent, but let me just say,
it's 10:30 Eastern. I looked up the pronunciation of reticent. Keep going. Sorry.
Smoked meats going on right now, so consider ourselves lucky, I guess. I have very strong feelings about what he asked. I think first I want to commend him on asking the question, right? Because he didn't just assume that I'm going to Yeah, that's a better. He didn't just presume. He's like questioning it, but not prejudiced either way. Just saying, what do you think? And I appreciate that. I think that's a very cool way to do it. Now, that being said, I am a firm believer that you can love Auburn and be as big of an Auburn person as anybody, whether you went there, got a degree or not, right? Like our beloved friend of the program, Reynolds Wolf, graduated from a different university, but who would dare say anybody loves Auburn more than Reynolds Wolf, right?
True.
That's not a negative on Reynolds. It's a positive that he loves a school that he didn't give money to, right? For 4 years or whatever. He still does, just because it's our beloved in our state, in our home area and everything. And it speaks to us. Most of my family didn't go to Auburn. My dad went and I went, and that's it. But my brother and sister are huge Auburn fans. My stepmother, my wife, my daughters, obviously.
Yep.
So you don't have to. I mean, it's almost like two different things in a way, you know. And so I appreciate him not presuming and wondering, but I want to reassure him that it's more than perfectly fine to embrace it and to say War Eagle and whatever. Because do you think Alabama fans have ever asked that question a single time ever of themselves?
No.
Please. Let me just introduce you, John, to the world where only University of Alabama at Tuscaloosa graduates get to say that RT. What a wonderful world it would be.
A dream.
So, yeah. So no, if you stop and think for a second, you realize it's all good.
One of the things about Van and I is that we do not gatekeep fandom. Like, we want everybody on board. If you want to be an Auburn fan, you're an Auburn fan. That's how it is. It's self-identification. And so you can say War Eagle all the heck you want to. Again, I have 3 children who are adults now. None of them went to Auburn. They say War Eagle and high-five me all the time. So
absolutely. I've said before, I came close to going to Florida State Panama City branch. I'd still be a huge Auburn fan at War Eagle. So
you might have had fun down there.
And you and I have gone to other colleges too, but we still
that's it.
We know where our heart is. Absolutely. So.
That's right. All right. Did you find that audio clip, or do you want me to keep reading?
No, I did. You want me to play it?
Hit it.
I put it in the Guess the Game folder, and I can't find Guess the Game folder. Here it goes.
Gentlemen, I have a message for our new head coach. And that is Privet Novomu Lavnomu Trienru, which roughly translated means hail the new head coach. I'm sure you're doing an emergency pod as we speak. So my question simplistically is, if Comrade head coach is to be successful in his first year, who are the 3 players he needs to retain? I look forward to hearing your feedback. I look forward to the soundboard transforming it into Rocky 4 clips instead of Batman and Robin clips. And as always, gentlemen, I would cheer for Mother Russia before I cheer for the University of Alabama. It's time to put our money where our mouth is.
Amen.
War Eagle, y'all. And I can't wait to hear what War Eagle is in Russian.
So was that from friend of the show?
William Carroll.
Okay. I feel like that one was maybe from like a month ago or something. Because he was asking about a couple of things that we've actually talked about. Like we've said that War Eagle in Russian was like something. I don't even remember what it was now. And players that we're going to retain, but we kind of already know who we're retaining and who we're not.
Well, okay. Again, this email was from March 5th. Let's assume he's referring to Stephen Pearl for a moment.
Oh, okay. I just took the Russian to mean.
I agree. Let's start with the basketball first and assume that he was referring to Stephen Pearl.
3 players you want to retain?
3 players you want to retain. Go.
All right. Well,
So
we know that
the
there's
2
some
players that are not eligible are Keyshawn Murphy and Keyshawn Hall. They're out of eligibility.
right. Yeah. And I'm going to miss them both in different ways and for different reasons, and in different degrees. I think that Kevin Overton has played better this year, but I think Elijah Freeman has shown so much promise. He excites me for the future. I think Sway is kind of limited. He's not a great offensive player yet. So, and I mean, Tahad is still Tahad. So, of the ones that have actually played, and I mean, Jovic certainly has his positives, and then he goes up there and misses free throws. I guess I'm going to say Overton, Freeman, and do I want to say Tahad over Sway if I can only pick 3? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because he scores a lot when he has to.
I like it. I'll probably go Tahad, Overton, Sway, but I get the Freeman pick. I mean, his upside is obvious, and then
he has flashes of something. He's not.
He has a lot of raw ability, but we're not close to the ceiling of him.
Yeah, that Kentucky finish when all the Kentucky guys were up there trying to get the rebound, and he just came in out of nowhere and put it through the hoop with soft hands.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't bang a dunk off the rim or something like we would normally do. He just went up there and did like a little volleyball tap and then pulled away, and it went in, and it was perfect.
Yeah, I think it's a good question.
It is a good question. John, I somebody said the other day, and I love this, if Byron Brown puts up the same statistics this fall as a senior that he put up at South Florida last year, he will win the Heisman Trophy. I like it.
I like it too. We'll have a very successful season if that happens. I know that. We got 2 more questions. This one's from frequent emailer Bill Miner, and the subject is SEC tournament format. He says, "Hey guys, it seems like a blast from the past playing the first day of the SEC tournament, but alas, we find ourselves there this year. I recall being in school, we were there. There were divisions, and only the top 2 in each had a bye. Then when A&M and Mizzou were added, it was seeds 11 to 14 that played. That made me think of a format of it, and I wish the SEC did the Sun Belt version where the worst teams would have to win 7 times to win it all. Georgia Southern plays Troy tonight in their 6th game in a row for a chance to be in the big tournament. This would make the SEC more interesting to me and reward the season more. Would you like it?"
So which part am I being asked if I like? I wasn't.
Would you like a different bracket where the lesser teams had to win more games?
No, I think I like it fine the way it is. In fact, the one thing I don't like about the way it is now is I feel like they have too many separate layers. Like the top 4 teams to me should have to play at least one more game. And I say that as a team that was one of the top seeds last year. I feel like you shouldn't get to come in at the very end, win like 1 or 2 games and be the champion. I think you should have to play. Oh, you got the.
Can you see that?
There you go.
That is the Sun Belt bracket he's referring to. There's no buys and people skipping ahead. You just have to win. The lower teams have to win and win and win and win and win.
Oh my gosh.
So there's a lot more rounds here as opposed to the SEC tournament, but I like it.
So Troy didn't play a game until the 6th round.
Yes.
But see, that's what I don't like. I don't like teams getting to come in at the very end, rested and refreshed when the scrappy underdog is exhausted from playing 6 days in a row or whatever.
They earned it by playing well in the regular season.
Yeah, I don't want to do away with it altogether. I just feel like they need to back the final game. The final four need to back up and be mixed in with 5 through 8. It's probably too many games to play on one day, and I understand it and all that. But still, I don't like them getting that many buys. It doesn't seem right to me.
I hear you. I just thought it's a fun question.
Yeah, it is.
All right. And then our last question is from Jacob Fleming, who says, "Gentlemen, I hope you two are well. There's speculation that Auburn men's basketball is on the brink of hiring a general manager. If you were the new general manager, what steps would you take to ensure this past year is just a blip and not on a downward trajectory? How far is this team away from competing for a title? Thanks for your time and have a great week."
Thank you, Jake. We are. All right. That's what I heard, was that we're doing that.
Yes. And the guy who was general manager got hired as like the last bench assistant coach. So they need a new person. And clearly that role is going to be very important in the offseason. So let's go back to our earlier question. Of the players that are on the roster that could come back, are there any you don't want back or would not prioritize bringing back? But the guys on the bench.
I would like to take 2 or 3 of those guys on the bench and trade them in for like a really tall guy and another good point guard, maybe.
Again, our backup center didn't play this year. Bashir didn't play this year. Magwood, Simon Walker.
We don't know what the deal is with Magwood.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the guy. If you ask me to bet who's the player who will not be on the team next year, I bet my money on him.
Yeah, I think so.
I think Walker is a good chance he could be back. That guy was injured. He was an Alabama high school player. So I think he kind of is more natural, wants to be at Auburn as a school probably. And I think he gets healthy and he could be in the rotation next year, no problem. But again, so then what are we prioritizing? I think we took a lot of small school guys this year. I think this has been something a lot of people talked about. We need some guys that played major conference basketball and were good defenders inside and outside. We need those guys.
We do have a very spotty track record, even with Bruce over the last few years, when we go out and get these guys from bigger schools. They don't always work out. Like there's always that one guy, it seems like every season, that's a fairly name brand, and he comes in and we bench him after 2 games and he never plays again. So we need to hit a few and not be we don't need so many misses.
I hear you, but some of those guys were like from Furman and stuff. I'm talking about guys from like power conferences who could play defense. I want some of those guys.
I agree. I've got a line for you to close the show out on, and you'll appreciate it, but I don't want to jump ahead. So if there's anything else,
we're done with listener questions.
All right. Do we have any around the SEC? I think the SEC tournament, and we've already talked about it.
We talked about it. Let me say this. Like, I'm going to ask you and the listeners, like, other than the Auburn games, will you watch the SEC tournament? I used to watch all of it, every game.
Yes, that's right. And I'm on spring break this week, so I can if I want to. But I got other things I could also do too. So I'll probably I'll definitely watch our game on Wednesday, and I'm going to kind of keep an eye on all the others probably.
Okay.
But I mean, whether like Florida or Kentucky or Alabama wins it, I don't care, and I don't want to watch it. I won't watch a team I don't like the coronation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's no good. All right, I'm gonna wrap up with this then, John. Bobby Bowden and Lou Holtz coached against each other when Bobby Bowden was coaching West Virginia and Lou Holtz was coaching William and Mary. And you got a connection there, right? Mm-hmm. So Lou Holtz, who just passed away this past week, so this was on my mind. Rest in peace, Lou Holtz. Senator Holtz that said he would be a senator if we beat Florida, and yeah. Lou Holtz was complaining that Bobby Bowden ran the score up on him in the game. And they asked Bobby Bowden about it, and Bobby Bowden said, well, we wouldn't have run the score up on him if Coach Holtz would recruit more Williams and fewer Marys. I should have. Those two are the kings of the folksy sayings as a head coach. You know what I mean? It doesn't get. Spurrier could have been in the conversation, but he'd have something sharp and overtly biting to say.
Yes.
Those two would just come up with the folksy old "aw shucks" line that still kind of gets you under the table. You know what I mean? So, a few more Williams and not so many Marys, John.
I get it.
All right. I think our time is up, and I think we thank you for yours. War Eagle, John.
War Eagle, man.